Welcome to the Alternative Dog Moms Podcast. I'm Kimberly Gauthier, creator of Keep the Tail Wagging. I've been blogging about raw feeding, pet wellness, and life as a crazy dog mom for more than 10 years. I've seen massive improvements in my dog's health since I began raising my dogs naturally, and I'm passionate about sharing my experience to help other pet parents.
I'm Erin Scott from the Believe in Dog podcast. For more than 10 years, I've been researching and learning everything I can about healing cancer, allergies, autoimmune, and mystery illnesses in both my dogs and myself. And I can't wait to share with you everything I've learned in case it could help you too. As the Alternative Dog Moms, Kimberly and I are bringing you all the latest dog health news that we're following and the brilliant people we're meeting along the way. Now let's get started. Hello, Kimberly.
Hello, Erin. So how are you?
All good over here. I'm very excited that we've been working with Daisy Girl, and her nails, after about 3 weeks, have been completely filed down to a pretty normal size in the front using her nail scratch board.
That is so great.
We have made like this fun game, and she just does it a couple minutes a day, and next, we have to figure out how to do the back feet.
Yeah.
Now, those aren't quite as bad because they get more worn down just from regular walking and stuff. But there's like 2 nails in particular that I'm hoping we can, one on each foot, that I'm hoping we can grind down on the back a little bit. So it's very exciting.
That is so exciting. I want to try that. My dogs tolerate nail trims pretty well. But it would be nice to give them something fun to do, to sort of like look forward to having their nails trimmed.
Because you know her, she's like, I'm the best dog that's ever done this.
Exactly. I can't. I'm in my head, I'm thinking of a rock song and I don't remember the name of it, and I'm not going to sing it or anything like that. But that's kind of what I have going on in my head when I saw the video of her doing her nails. I'm going to see if I can find the name of it. I don't even know if these are the right words, because you know how we just
make up our own words sometimes. Yeah.
Yep, those aren't the right words. So yeah, I'll just say it then. It's a song where one of the lyrics in the song I always think is, get down with the fitness, but it's not.
Oh, it's get down with the sickness.
Is it the snake? Oh, then you know what I'm talking about.
Yep, I know.
Okay, yeah. So that's the one that I always think of when I was watching that videos.
I actually met them back in like 2002.
Ooh, fancy.
But so our old man Nino, he goes to the chiropractor every week or every month, and he has been dealing with a bicep tendonitis, and he had jumped off the bed the other night, and I saw him kind of wince when he landed. And so we were talking to the chiropractor, and in her wellness center, she has somebody that does shockwave therapy. So it looks kind of like an ultrasound type system. And she said, they swear by this for bicep tendonitis. So he is going to be doing that this week. So he's going to hate it because he's going to have to get in the car and come to work with me and endure weird things and weird people. But I think we'll get through it together. He'll feel better afterwards.
I love that. Well, nothing's new with my dogs. Everyone's pretty much, living and surviving and doing really well. Zoe, who will be 12 years old in 2 months, and a little more than 2 months, is doing so good. But of course, at this age, every little thing you're like, is this it? So the other day she's like a real late sleeper. So when all the other dogs get up in the morning and go out potty, she's just like, give me another hour. Give me another 30 minutes. And I usually do. But the other morning I was convinced that this is it. This is the day when it marked the change. And so I'm just sitting here petting her and, and stuff like that. And then she's finally like, fine, clearly you're not going to leave me alone. So I'll just get up and go outside. And I felt so bad for disturbing her peace. But otherwise, yeah, everyone is doing really well. Buffy is our smallest, youngest dog, and she is a terror. She is a terror. And so now, well, I guess, she's 8 months old, so she's getting into adolescence maybe.
Yeah.
And she is, basically trying to express herself. And Bella is correcting her all the time. So today they had a moment of correction where Bella was like, no more of that. And she backed off and sort of just looked at her, and they had this a little moment, and then they started playing again. So I was like, okay, well, looks like you're okay. Apollo, he did have a moment where he just like kind of lost it with her last week. Because she was just jumping on his head, and he was just like, I'm not wanting to play right now. And the most recent thing is when I feed raw meaty bones, she'll sneak and try to snatch one out of someone's bowl.
Ooh,
So, but
girl.
she will not do that with Bella, because Bella has made it beyond clear that that is like, she gets a scary deep growl like you wouldn't believe. Apollo is just like, whatever. And so is Zoe. They're both like, what? And I'm like, you guys need to stop letting her do this. So I have to basically be mealtime referee, where when she finishes her food, even though she's the last one to feed, she finishes pretty quickly, and she'll go running around to see what's in everyone else's bowl. So it took about a week for her to realize, okay, so I'm not allowed to just go into people's bowls when they're eating. And so she'll wait until they're empty, and then she wants to do what everyone else is doing, is go around and lick the bowls. So now she's learning that you need to let them finish licking their own bowl, and then they can walk away. Then you can go and lick their bowl. That's how that works. So she's figuring that out right now.
Well, by the
But
way, now I have Madonna stuck in my head because you said express yourself.
that's what she's doing. She's very much expressing herself. Is She's such a cutie, though. She's so sweet. Oh, and we had fleas.
Oh
And
no.
I am like this happy, as I scratch my shoulder. I am this happy person that has just like, I mean, we've had like a flea or two here and there type of thing, but fleas are just never my issue. And this year, I was just like, I was talking to someone on social media about like natural things and garlic and things like that. And she was just like, are you sure that that garlic supplement is keeping fleas away? And I'm like, actually, no, because I actually don't give it to my dogs that much. I'm not, haven't been consistent this year of giving it to my dogs. So I'm just sort of like, so then I started thinking about it, and I had fleas, and then I was laying down playing with Buffy, and two fleas, bold as day, crawling around on her. So I killed one of them, and later on got the other one, but then went and was like, well, this is a great opportunity to figure out what works. And so what I did is I went through, I brushed the other dog, took them all outside and brushed them really well. And I put, what is it called? It was actually in the evening. So I put Ken and Kine on everybody. No, actually, I'm thinking. I put Ken and Kine on everyone at first. Or I was going to, I should say that. I was going to, but then I was looking at the bottle as I was grabbing it, and it's like, oh, this is a repellent. I need a flea killer right now. And so I reached for the Cocoa Therapy coconut oil and massage that on everyone. And for people who don't know, the coconut oil will coat a flea's exoskeleton and basically smother them to death. And my dogs love coconut oil. So it was a pain in the neck as I'm trying to get them to stop licking me, licking themselves, licking each other as I'm putting the
Looking at the
coconut oil.
floor, look at the sofa, and they
Exactly. So I did that and got it massaged into them. And then the next day, I used Animalio's Away, and just sprinkled that on them in the morning. And then, like, in the afternoon, I used a little bit of Kin and Kine on them. And I was sort of going back and forth between that. And then, of course, I washed the beddings, vacuumed the flooring. And because of the flea's life cycle, I did all of this repeatedly over a week. So I'm
get your
constantly
car
vacuuming.
too if they've been in your car.
Yeah. I mean, it's just like just cleaning everything up. Thankfully, yeah, they hadn't been in the car, but it was just, just cleaning everything up and just making sure eggs hatch, vacuum and, and making sure all of that's done. Another thing I did, which I didn't mention, I shared this on a social media post. One thing that I did, I did mention it, is Animalio has a flea bomb. essential oil blend. So I diffused that in the room that has the carpet. And I used that's what I didn't mention, diatomaceous earth. I sprinkled that on the carpet and let it sit for a few hours, and then I vacuumed it up. And I think that did it. It took a week and I mean, I don't know if it took a week, but I just did all of that over the week because I figure in the past, what I've had is I thought that I killed all the fleas and got everything, but then the whole life cycle starts up again, and I'm right back into flea country. And it sucks because I'm thinking that Buffy might have an allergy to chicken. I was feeding chicken this past week because she's itching, not tons. It's not obsessively itching, but she's itching. And I don't have itchy dogs. And so I don't know if this is just her, like if she's just going to be a slightly itchier dog. I blame the 66% pit bull
Pit bull.
terrier. Or if she could have a protein sensitivity. She doesn't have any digestive issues, which is usually where we
Or
see.
does she have another flea on her?
Yeah, exactly. Or if there's that. But so I haven't gotten any bites. So that's usually my telltale sign is when I start getting bites. That's a big problem. And no one else is itching, just her.
Do you know where you think it came from?
The fleas?
Mhm.
Yes. Well, to be honest, it could have come from anywhere, but it's been so warm, and so anytime they're probably going to be in in shade. There is also high grass on areas of our property where they run around in the high grass, and there's like this big pile of like debris, like wood and stuff. And I think that there's like rabbits and stuff in there, and so they're always sneaking around and looking into that. There's a few of those of like old, dead trees that have taken down, and we just put them at the edge of the property. And so it could be there's those type of things, but so far they've been doing pretty good.
Yeah, we had a problem, and I'm pretty sure that the town that I work in, they do a lot of, like, yappy hour events and, dog-friendly events, and there's a pet store, and, a lot of the stores are dog-friendly, and I'm pretty sure, like, that whole town is just, just fleas everywhere, and so last year, we had a problem, and I had to stop bringing the dogs. I was bringing her to work with me because just for fun, because she liked coming
Mhm.
with me, and we would do nose work in a different area. And what I think happened was I had cleaned I got rid of the dog beds that were at my work. I got rid we cleaned and got rid of things and vacuumed and everything, but I didn't do my car, and I think that's what happened. And then it came back like a month later, and then that's when I was like, "Oh." So I, like, completely coated my car in Wondercide. I think I may have used, like, an entire bottle of Wondercide,
Mhm.
like, spraying my car down, and it smelled like peppermint for, like, 6 weeks in there,
I know I
but
have
I didn't have
wonders.
a problem after that. And so, actually, I have actually not brought my either dog to work with me in, like, over a year, and I'm actually really nervous about bringing Nino
Yeah.
this week with me, and I'm going to be doing all of these things that you're talking about, the kennel
Yeah, I
cleanings
mean, it's
and
just
the
like I'm gonna continue doing it. I mean, I did it for a week and everything's so fine, but I'm not gonna let it up. I'm going to now, basically every other day they get a drop of Away on their back. And like tonight before I go to bed, I'm gonna vacuum up the room again, but I'm gonna put down diatomaceous earth a couple hours before I do that, keep the
Yeah, my
dogs out.
whole house was, like, coated in diatomaceous.
Yeah. I mean, it's just sort of like and I don't mind putting diatomaceous earth on my dogs. I know it's drying, but it's not something that I do on a regular basis. So, if I'm gonna take them outside, I have a huge bag of diatomaceous earth. I'll take it out and I'll just take a handful and I just dust all the dogs off with it and then let them just run around outside. And I just haven't done it in this week because it's just been too hot for them to be outside for too long. So but otherwise, yeah, that's our big adventure, fleas.
Oh, god.
Ugh.
Oh, we've had some good guests lately.
Yes, we have.
Like, I feel like that was quite a run.
I I know.
So, Oh my gosh, Daniel was like blowing my mind with these studies that he's been working on with his company. I'm
Well,
super
and
excited.
I'm still like obsessed with the
The
survey.
questionnaire, yeah.
Yeah, the questionnaire. And I even came up with a questionnaire because it made me curious about, I'm just curious about people's raw feeding habits. So I created a questionnaire, and I know I'm going to like put it out there for people to answer.
Mm.
But the only problem is in the past I've done questionnaires, and even though you do get some responses, you don't get a whole lot. And it's just sort of like not even really worth much. And so I'm really excited about his because something that might have, a really good basically, what is it? Um, response base.
Yeah,
It
because
can
they
give
went
us
to
some
a market research company, like, yeah.
exactly. And it could really give us some really interesting information because there's also the follow-up questions that you don't think to ask when you're putting together a survey. But mine is very basic, whereas more of like what people feed, why they feed it, and things like that. But I'm really interested in getting a hold of that, and because he said he was going to think about writing a book
Yeah.
that about it, and it's just sort of like that's going to take forever. It's going to take forever. I want to see it now.
Well, I think the study will be released before the book, so.
I hope so. I hope so.
And
So
then
yeah.
we had Dr. Margot Roman.
What yeah, I was really well, I'm always just very interested in anyone's journey when they're involved with the holistic side of the world.
Establishment, yeah, versus the
Yeah,
establishment.
because it's just what they go through, because when you just think of veterinarians, I just think of my veterinarians that I go to. I don't really think about what their day-to-day lives are. And the fact that people have to work so hard to continue practicing is astounding to me. I mean, because I've seen that with Dr. Peter Tobias. I've seen it with, probably not so much with agencies coming after Dr. Karen Becker. I don't know about that, but just her colleagues coming for her throat. I mean, Dr. Kathy Alanovi, Dr. Judy Morgan, like a lot of these people have had to deal with, what is it called? Like disgruntled ex-employees who report them. And they're basically fighting for their career in this, long, well-established career. They're fighting for it. And I read more into Dr. Morgan's post, and I wish I would have known to ask her this. One part of the case is that she was recommending an ozone machine for people. And what's interesting is that it's interesting how many things during COVID were basically considered, like pseudoscience, and that's not real. Whereas prior to COVID, many of these things were looked to as very great for health and for killing disease, killing germs, whatever. But during COVID, it was just like, nope, we're not doing any of this. And then after COVID, a lot of information came out to support all of these modalities that people could have been using during COVID
And
to
then
protect
meanwhile,
them.
you have political figures saying to, like, snort bleach or whatever, and that's
Well, and
okay.
that's just it is that, there's so many things out there that I find it interesting that she's still fighting for this. Like, I understand partly, like, this is kinda touching out of your lane. Like, you're a veterinarian, you're talking to humans, it feels kinda like you're giving, medical advice, not, veterinarian advice. So I can understand saying, "So we need you not to do that." But this feels more.
But, like, taking her license away?
Yeah, exactly. So this
And
feels like more.
also,
And
like, in the brief that you linked to, thank you for finding that, by the way, uh, she like, I just sort of took it as like, "Well, this is what I'm doing,
yeah,
and maybe you wanna get a generator too."
yeah, and this is where I get them from.
Yeah,
And if you go here, you can get this discount so you can get it for less.
I never would have taken it as, like, heavy-handed in any way or practicing out of your lane. It was like, oh, okay, wow, okay, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, because so that's what I mean. It's like I can understand someone coming forward and going, "Hey, this smacks to." It's sort of like I guess with the certified pet nutritionist and pet health coaches, where an organization comes to them and says, "Hey, we looked at your website, we looked at your social media. You're dancing on the line of practicing medicine without a license. Let's talk. We need you to make these changes, and this is why," and having a conversation. And it makes me think that, and it kind of alluded to it, was that there's more of a history that she's had. And I've seen this with other veterinarians too, where they have a history. Like, well, with Dr. Peter Tobias, they told him, either you stop promoting these supplements that are helping dogs or, and pets, or you lose your license.
And
I
he
mean,
gave up his license.
it's, Dr. Julianne, and she's not a doctor anymore because she walked away, but Julianne Lee of Adored Beast Apothecary, same thing. A, they gave her a hard time just about the name of her business. And it's the nitpickiness of it, where when you see so many veterinarians going through this, it's just like, how much of this is really like your concern for the public? And how much of it is that you need to shut this person down?
Yeah, like some sort of personal vendetta.
Yeah. So I found that just to be really interesting.
And I just, I'm always so admiring of women who came up in a time where they had ambitions
Where they were the
greater.
only woman.
Yeah, where they're the only woman. They're, they're getting these letters saying you're just trying to, get your
Get a
MRS
husband.
degree.
That
Yeah.
that was so crazy when she said that there's the reason why they wouldn't allow women in is because they wouldn't stick around. They were just there to find a doctor husband. And it's just like, really?
I mean, I just, oh God, good God,
Wow.
I can think of very few things that anger me to my
It's
core.
like when people say, it's like, if I could never go back in time, because there is no period back in time except for probably the past 30 years where I would have to be a completely different person, because I think today we are so vocal, and we're more empowered, a- and it's normal for us to say what we have to say, whereas back then you didn't. You have to keep it together. It made me think of the movie Hidden Figures,
Mm,
which is on Netflix now, so I want to watch it
that's
again.
such a good movie.
Such a good movie. But it's just like this, it makes you appreciate, or it makes me appreciate how good I have it, that people who came before me really had to deal, like, I really have no qualms. I have no issues. I have annoyances. I have mild annoyances in my life. I don't have nothing is like I have mild discomforts. Like, and by that I mean the cable. I was up all night and I couldn't sleep, and then the cable went out for 10 minutes and I had to reset. I had to get out of bed and go and reset the cable box and then come back and then make sure everything was okay and
First
then
world
find what I
problems.
was. Yeah. Yeah, that's what I have to deal with. Gas prices are high. But you know what? I also have a Costco card, and and I can drive up to Costco to get cheaper gas. There are just so many things that when I look at what people struggled with 50, 60, 70 years ago compared to what I struggle with today, there's no comparison at all.
Yeah, I mean, my mom was the only female mathematics major at her college in the 70s,
Oh, I
and
bet.
she got a job. She was a civilian employee of the military, and, back in the 70s, they just treated her like she was some secretary, and
Yeah.
she had a lot of that her whole career, so that's always been something that really, like, oh, that fires me up.
Oh, I know. It's astounding to me. So yeah, that was it made me think of just, Dr. Barbara Roman, Barbara Royal, and her experiences, and also it gives me some empathy towards veterinarians as a whole, because It is, and we just kind of touched on this with Daniel, where there isn't really space for you to branch out and do your own thing if you want to survive as a veterinarian. And if you don't have your own clinic, I mean, which many don't, they're working for other people. And especially in this world where they keep gobbling up the clinics with these corporations that are doing it, there's no space for people to stand out and say, "Hey, I'm not going to vaccinate this sick dog." Or, "Hey, before we just assume that it's this, let's do a little more testing." And or I went to this seminar this weekend, and they taught us this non-invasive technique to figure this out. I'm going to start doing this. If you're working for one of these big corporations, there isn't space for that. You can do it on the fly, like behind a closed door where people, don't see. And Dr. Roman was mentioning that, like
Yeah.
that's what she was doing.
Yeah, she was
And
doing acupuncture in the euthanasia room so she could cover
yeah,
it up, yeah.
I mean, it's just like, I honestly, and it just makes me appreciate what I have access to today.
Definitely. I actually just had a really heartbreaking moment. So after we spoke with Jennifer about the non-surgical CCL tear repair, I was looking up that hospital, the orthopedic rehab facility that I had worked with Kahlua, and apparently I guess the owner of that has retired, and he must have sold the practice to one of these big corporate groups, and I was heartbroken, and there's all these, like, complaints on, like, Google review just from, like, the last, like, year or 2 about things, and, oh, I was so heartbroken because they were such a great resource for us back when we went through that.
Yeah, it is. It's really unfortunate. So last week was SuperZoo.
Yeah. Did you have any FOMO?
I didn't. I was waiting for it. I was waiting for it the whole time. I was thinking that I was going to be like, nope, I'm just going to get on a plane and fly down there. I want to see everybody. Not 1 second. I did talk to, who was it? I forgot who I spoke. I spoke to someone, Jay of Crazy Cat Ladies, because I a profile came through my feed that was like, a friendship, not request, but recommendation. And I'm like, well, one, Jay has an profile pic, is not just the gray face. And two, we're already friends. And then, unless she unfriended me, I went and checked. No, she didn't. And so I sent it to her saying, "Hey, is this you? Is someone trying to, scam
Your
people,
page,
or
yeah.
is this your like backup?" Like, cause some people will make a backup usually they give it a different name, but some people make a backup profile. And she was like, "Nope, not me." And so I reported it and sent her the link so she could report it too. And but she was like, "Oh, we're gonna really miss you tonight." And I was like, "Oh, thank you. That was so nice." And apparently, I was in an image in their slideshow. Someone sent me
Aw.
a picture saying, "Oh, there you are," because they did a slideshow of basically their parties, their annual parties, and the first one was at their place, and so I was there,
Oh.
and that's when we were like, "We got to do this every year," and they really took it to heart because we did not expect what
I
they
mean,
did
that's probably what I missed the most was getting to go to that.
Yeah, it's like I think my thing was that, and of course, there's probably not much to it, but this past year has been so, I don't wanna say volatile, but so, uh, drama-y with the what is it? Viva Raw recalls, with the BK Pets and their, change of
About face.
things. Yeah, their about phase. There are, the amazing growth in the CPCNs that, people are graduating from the Feed Rail Institute. But unfortunately, there's a lot of arguments, I guess, amongst that. Not necessarily the CPNs, but basically anyone who is calling themselves a canine nutritionist or a pet nutritionist or holistic pet coach or anything. It's not everyone, but there's just a small fraction of
Subset,
people
yeah.
in this group that are just like really, where people are getting so I saw that Jennifer posted something the other day where she's just so frustrated and it's getting to her mental health and it's all because a few women. And it's funny because I asked her, who are these? Who is it? Who's bothering you? I don't know. It's three people. I don't know any of them at all. And so it's just sort of like, who are they? I mean, they don't have not that you have to have a big following to be a bully, but I would think that like, well, what's the point? Like, what's the end game here that you're going to bully someone out of the space? Like,
Yeah.
what is your point? Because there's literally I could probably name I know I can name 5 people right now that I do not like. That I'm going to tell you right now that if they were on fire, I would I would
I
spit
know
on
how that goes.
I will spit on them to put them out, but I would be thinking about it, and the only reason why I would spit on them is because it's one of those "what would Jesus do" moments. Not that Jesus goes around spitting on people, but but, I there are people that I do not like them at all, and so the people who were really problematic, I blocked and forgot about. I never deal with them. I never see them. They never see me. We don't see each other at events because I don't really go to events. It's not, they're a non-factor. People who I haven't blocked, again, because I don't engage with their content and they don't engage with mine, social media has sort of like put up like a wall where I very rarely see their stuff come through. And I'm guessing that they probably very rarely see my stuff come through because we're not engaging with each other. And that's it. I don't have this burning need to tear them down. I would never I can also recognize that all of them, sadly, they're all women because that's just how we are, ladies. All of them are doing great things. We just don't like each other, but they're doing great things. I'm not going to allow my hurt feelings or I don't know. I don't even know what it is, hurt feelings, or if I just feel offended that they exist. I don't know, but I'm not going to allow that to stop them from helping pets because that's the whole point of doing all of this is to help pets. And they are. If they weren't helping pets, I mean, I guess I don't know what I would do. If they were harming pets, I get the evidence and turn them in, but they're not. They're not abusing. They're not harming. They're just not very, in my opinion, in my experience, not very nice people. And so we just don't deal with them. So I don't understand grown women doing this with each other. It'll never cease to amaze me. And the thing about it is I hate the fact that it's women. I know that our community is primarily female. So maybe that's why. Maybe maybe if there were more men, men would be catty and petty and stuff too. Um, Nick, you'll have to tell us. Are you are you petty? Are you like at home texting your buddies, talking shit about your other friends? Because I don't know many guys that do that. I know they're out there, but it just feels like women have gotten so good at it. So that's basically why I don't have FOMO is that I've just kind of gotten over the whole system. And there's literally nothing I can gain from SuperZoo beyond just going to say hi with people. And a lot of the people that I would go there to say hi to, I can say hi to at other places. The only person that I was bummed not to see is Rodney. And so we were texting back and forth. He's like, I can't believe you're not coming. And it's like, I know, I'm so sorry. And I texted him about what happened, and he was just absolutely devastated about the fact that they basically did a, swapperoo and charged people a special fee to come and see them. And so they basically, what did you say, did a presentation to an practically empty room compared to, what we all know what their draw is.
Yeah, so, you know, Dr. Becker and Rodney had been sharing on social media that they were really excited to speak at SuperZoo, especially because, it was 10 years ago when Rodney started posting about changes in
Mhm.
the industry, and those changes were not welcome to be talked about. And, it felt like this real kind of full circle thing, like, oh, now
Yeah.
we're being brought back. And, yeah, I guess my understanding of it is that you had to purchase some kinda special extra ticket or some kinda special extra thing, and it wasn't just welcome to everybody at SuperZoo who's already paying a good bit of money to be
Yes.
there.
Yes.
Whether they're an exhibitor, it costs a ton of money to have a booth there and be
Thousands and thousands of dollars.
staffed, and, and then for people to come and attend, it costs money. So, yeah, I understand that, from what I heard from it being in the inside scoop group, that, yeah, there was some kinda drama about their talk, and then it wasn't well attended, and I was just like, "What a mess." It just sounded like it was so not handled right.
Yeah. I think it's unfortunate too because they basically used Rodney and Karen's name to
Yeah.
get people excited about going. At least that's how I take it. That may not have been their intention, but that's what it feels like now with everything that happened. And we all know that attendance is down because there used to be where you basically had to go to Super Zoo in order to get the deals, the showroom deals. But now they have that stuff where as long as the brand has a booth there, you can do all your orders online. And now it's just with the economy the way it is, I am not surprised to see that because I saw pictures of Super Zoo and I thought that people were going in, like, first thing in the morning, like, right when it opened, so it wasn't as crowded. It fills up, and it does a ebb and flow during the day, so it like, around 10 to 11, then that's when you see a lot of people, and then people start milling
Going to
out for
lunch and
lunch,
yeah.
and then people come back in the afternoon, and so but there are I mean, it's kinda like Costco on, a Sunday type of thing where it's crowded at Super Zoo and you're paying attention. You're trying to pay attention to where you're going and looking at the floor, looking at the ceiling with the signs, as well as look at everything around you and then avoid people who have wagons and, who may have, because there's all the groomers there. So they're walking around with their beautiful dogs and other people who just bring their dogs. And I mean, there's just stuff going on everywhere. And
It's
I didn't
definitely,
see
like, sensory overload.
yeah, I didn't see that this year. I mean, I just there's not a whole heck of a lot, and from my perspective, there's not a lot for me to gain by going to Super Zoo, and if I do go, I go as, as an influencer, and you can go for free, but you have to do all of this promotion beforehand, during, and afterwards as part of your contract, and if you don't follow the rules, they will not let you back there's a good chance they might not let you back the next time. And I was just thinking about, like, I mean, I can find stuff to write about, that's not a problem. But again, Billy, he doesn't live here, but Green Juju is. So I get to see Billy when he comes into town. I get to see Kelly if we're around the same place. There's also the Feed Real Summit where I'm gonna see a lot of the people at the Feed Real Summit. There's just I mean, it's not often that I'm excited about new products, and it felt like when I saw people talking about stuff, they were talking about the brands that we already know, and, "Oh, they're over here," and but, I mean, maybe they did have something new, but there wasn't one of those where I'm gonna show up and meet an absolutely brand new brand that I've never heard of before, and they did something amazing and smart. And those days are kind of I used to go because every year I knew this guy, he was I don't know what he was. I always called him like an agent, but that's not what his job was. I think he was like a distributor. And he would introduce me to all these new like, he would come and find me and be like, "Let's go," and we'd walk around. He would introduce me to all these amazing new brands, and it's been a while since I've seen that, and last year, like, it was cool to meet Jope, and it was cool to see a lot of other brands in the, like, the new product area, but also seeing that other brand that didn't understand why they put probiotics in their food. It's that's frustrating to me.
Right. And I feel like, that's the growing segment.
Yes, exactly. People want to jump into the fresh food space, but they're not quite sure how to do it. They're trying to do it within the boundaries of kibble.
Or yeah, or just market it that
Mhm.
way.
Because the probiotic that was in that raw brand is the same probiotic that Purina uses in their stuff. So it's just sort of like, you could, I mean, and again, they don't know. I mean, because I've spoken to other companies where they were not familiar with like Julianne of Adored Beast Apothecary. And, at the time, years ago when Answers used to be the place about fermented, and that was like the go-to source for fermentation and gut health and things like that, they weren't familiar with any of those brands. And so they went to the big boys to, and so, I mean, the only thing I was curious about just to see how many of the kibble brands or processed food brands came out with something with the tag of fresh on
Yeah,
it.
or natural or yeah.
Yeah, exactly. I was curious. I mean, it happens every year, but since Hills came out with their food, I was curious to know if anyone else was going to be like, we have raw now. And I was just like going to be taking pictures of those ingredients, sending them to you. Like, can you believe it? Hoping I don't get kicked out. What about you? Did you have FOMO? You've been
Um,
to Super Zoo once.
yeah. I mean, I could have gone for one of those burgers.
I know, right? Someone sent me a picture of Wahlburgers too. They were walking by and were like, "Thinking of you." And I was like, "How did," and my first thought was, "How did you know?" And I'm like, "Oh, we
'Cause
have
we've
spoken
talked
about
about it.
Wahlburgers many, many times." I swear we should be sponsored by Wahlburgers. I and I'm terrified of going back again, but I want to so bad. I
Uh,
wanna go and enjoy.
yeah, I kind of feel like you did. I like kind of the socializing aspect of it. That part was fun, but, I'm not gonna pay to go out there and do all
Yeah.
that, just,
It's an
for that
investment. I
effort.
mean, unless someone flies you out, I mean, for me, the flight wouldn't be that much. It would probably be like few $100. But to stay in, because 'cause I'll either stay at the Luxor or at Mandalay Bay, that's an expensive trip, and you're there for at least 2 or 3 days. And
Yeah, and I
so
mean, I'm coming from the East Coast, so I'm definitely not doing it in and out, like,
yeah, so it's like it's an investment for a lot of people, and the whole thing of it used to be for me as a blogger is I would go and meet brands and, you start building up relationships so you can start doing collaborations and things like that. But I don't really do, I mean, I do collaborations with people, but it's very organic where, they know, "We noticed that you really like our stuff. Can we send you some?" "Yes, please." That's basically what mine is. I'm no longer trying to turn this into a full-time business. So that's just an expense that I can't do. Whereas if I go to, like, the Feed Real Summit, I'm actually learning and sitting in. If SuperZoo actually allowed us to go and sit in on the training sessions without charging more, you know, maybe
that
that
would
would
be
make it
interesting,
worth it.
yeah.
Yeah. But, going to the Feed Real Summit and other things that are happening all around the country, that is, I feel, more bang for my buck.
Yeah. Well, other brand news has been happening. I don't think we've talked about this yet, but Northwest Naturals company took
Yes.
synthetic vitamins and minerals out and has replaced them with whole foods.
That
And I
is
thought that's amazing.
See, and I thought it was such a great move because they're an HPP company, and I feel like, yeah, they do HPP, but they also don't use synthetic. I mean, it's just like, who cares? I think that that is brilliant.
Yeah, that was really exciting. And then I started getting ads in my Facebook feed for a fresh food that is available at chewy.com. These algorithms are just, stalking me. And so I thought I looked at it and it's not terrible. It reminds me of one of the foods that I feed Nino. That's a gently cooked one.
Mhm.
But I was at least glad to see that they're making more of these things available. I don't think it's super price conscious unless you're using like that discount you get or whatever on the first order.
Yeah.
I didn't think it was gonna be super, wallet friendly option for anyone, but, I'm just excited to see the big companies, the Chewies getting behind any kind of fresh feeding.
Well, yeah, I mean, I shouldn't say last year, earlier this year, Huntaway switched over to Chewy's,
Yeah.
because I used to have a quarterly, subscription for their food for my dogs, and they do venison, and when you got a huge box, and so it was like 9 bags of their food, I think it was ultimately 27 pounds. It was a lot cheaper for me to buy it that way, where it's already balanced, than to buy venison and then all the other ingredients I needed to balance it on my own. So I decided to do that on a quarterly basis. And then I got a message that we're not doing this anymore. But for the first order for Chewy, you got 50% off. So I set up one order, and then went and set up a different account under my another email address, and I set up another order and got as much as I could, and then I canceled them both. But yeah, Chewy's is picking up on raw food, which is funny because there was a rumor going around that Chewy's was paying influencers to badmouth raw. And I was just like, yeah, I don't think that that's what's happening, but seeing them start producing different types of food is kind of exciting to see. Or promoting different types of food.
And then the other thing that was popping up in
You sent me this and I totally forgot about it. My God.
I was all fired up. So, I started getting this ad in my Facebook feed for uh like a vet continuing education seminar. I guess sometimes they seem to think I'm a veterinarian because of all the things that I look at. And I'm like, "Oh, what's this?" And it's, something like, fresh feeding decoded and, I'll put a link for you guys to check it out. And I'm like, "Oh, okay." And it's like, "Your patients have questions, so the pet food landscape is evolving, and, here's what pet parents and pet owners want to know. There's a summit with these 3 experts talking about pet food formats." And I'm like, "Oh, what's this?" And then it says, "Do, do, 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 sponsored by Fresh Pet." And I'm like, "You gotta be effing kidding me right now."
I mean, and the thing about it is that a lot of people don't realize that fresh pet isn't fresh.
Right.
I mean, because I commented on a post. It was one of Rodney's posts, and it was something about something that I used to believe but don't believe anymore. And I mentioned that fresh pet, and I had so many responses like, "What's wrong with fresh pet? What do you mean about fresh pet?" And I was just like, "Oh, oh." I felt like being the person that got caught, near kids saying Santa Claus isn't real, and now I had to explain to them, and it's just like, yeah, fresh pet. I mean, it's one of those where it was the first or one of the first foods, I would say the first food that I noticed that was in a refrigerator at a pet store,
Or
and
at,
so
like,
it
Target.
yeah, it's now at Target, at Costco, at my local Fred Meyer. I mean, it's everywhere. And yes, it does give the impression that if it's in the fridge, it must be. But again, you still got to look at the ingredients. I mean, I'm not a fan of food that looks like a loaf, like a pimento loaf, and that's kind of what it looks like to me. And when every protein kind of looks exactly the same, like, because we all know that, I mean, not that I don't know what proteins they have, but we all know that like venison is, it's very dark, and, duck is going to be very light. But when everything is kind of the same color, it's just all of that just, I don't know. I'm not a fan. And, it's ultimately I'm not going to tell people not to feed it. I'm just going to say I wouldn't feed it. And I wouldn't trust people, you know, who represent Fresh Pet to teach me about
Oh,
fresh
yeah.
food
Because
and
you know
what
me.
pet parents want to know.
I had to go Google who is at the summit, and summit, it's like 3 people talking. I think, like, summit's a big word for that, but
Yes.
yeah. So, one of them is the senior vice president of Freshpet. You know, he's a DVM, PhD, senior vice president of Freshpet. The other one is a PhD who's the lead of R&D for
Hmm.
Freshpet. And then the other guy who is also, some kind of doctor, he works for the Kraft Heinz Company as an endowed professor at a for nutrition, and I'm
In
like
human
in
nutrition,
human nutrition,
let's
yes.
just
So he works so yeah, I really think we should all be taking our nutrition information from the Kraft Heinz Foundation, don't you?
yeah. I mean, to me, yeah, Fresh Pet. It's just basically they are the reason why I expected all of these companies to start coming out with raw food brands years ago. But instead they came out with like the freeze-dried bits in kibble. That was a huge thing for several years. And then they started using like changing their packaging to make it look kind of natural, putting whole chickens on it and calling things like, raw. I mean, no, raw it actually is a raw food brand, but there'd be like raw coated kibble and just different variations of raw on the packages when it was, no, this is actually kibble. And this is just another step on that where we're going to pretend like we're fresh food because we have fresh in the title. And people will believe it because
And that's
so many
why
people do not know, they do not understand. And I'm just going to circle back to something I said earlier. We are so busy arguing with each other on social media and not sharing accurate information so that we can expand our reach and make this segment of the pet food community bigger and more important in the platform's eyes that we can't reach these people. I mean, if I spent all my time just bickering with people on social media and not creating content, I would not be able to do what I'm doing. I mean, I wouldn't be able to have any type of impact. And it's like if all of us could just switch our focus to just focusing on helping people and producing great information and collaborating with the people we like, man, there's so much we could do. There's so much we can do, but, you know,
but
uh,
we always talk about how there's so few veterinary nutritionists and how
mhm.
veterinarians are only getting information that's sponsored by major corporations, and here was, like, an exact, example of that right in my Facebook feed, and
Oh,
I'm like,
yeah.
veterinary.
Oh my God, I had a person, I finally just I wouldn't respond to him anymore because it was clear to me that he was I mean, I'm thinking that he's a veterinarian, but he came onto my post and where I was talking about animal diet formulator. And I was just like, about the people behind it, Dr. Royal, Steve Brown, Dr. Recker. There's another veterinarian too, but I only mentioned those 3 individuals. And he's like, Dr. Royal is just a regular veterinarian who has an interest in holistic stuff. Steve Brown isn't even a veterinarian, and neither is Dr. Recker. And I was just like, well, never said Steve Brown was a veterinarian. I said he's a master formulator. And he's worked with a lot of companies helping them formulate their diets. And I was like, and I think I'm going to need you to do your homework because Dr. Recker very much is a veterinarian. She went to vet school with Dr. Karen Becker. Then he came back and was like, okay, well, she is a veterinarian because I guess he Googled her, but she's not a holistic veterinarian and she's not a nutritionist. And it's just like, you need to stop. But it was just sort of like this. And this was like in a discussion where I dealt with two veterinarians and one vet tech, where I was perfectly polite to them, but they were so like there was never any changing their minds. And so it was just sort of like, why are you commenting? Because you're definitely not going to change my mind. I honestly think that I'm in the right in what I'm doing for my dogs. I think I'm right. But you keep like people are sharing their thoughts and stuff, and you keep tearing it down because you don't agree with it. And it's just it's this is what 90% of pet parents are exposed to, is people who have a complete closed mind to anything other than alternate, other than what they're taught in their schools. And it's kind of frightening.
And also that goes right to what Daniel was talking about last week was vets and vectite. I know, I already know, and I could change my mind.
I mean and that's just it. Is like, the only time people actually find our stuff is when they're so frustrated and they're not getting what they need and they start looking for alternative stuff. Then they start coming across our stuff. And it's just like, and then, you know, they're probably scared and overwhelmed because we jump all over them the second they come in the door. And they're like, "Okay, they're crazy." Because I even had a veterinarian come in and say, "Don't even bother talking to these people because da 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 da." And I was just like, "Show me an example. Show me an example. No one has done anything to you." It's like you are being rude by just coming here and saying that, by not joining into the conversation and sharing because like they were talking about fillers. Fillers are really good and there's a nutritional reason for them. And I'm like, okay, well, explain to me dried bakery products, because I never have been able to understand the nutritional benefit of dried bakery products. There's other foods that I don't get either, like corn. I don't understand corn because most people say, well, corn is added for energy. And I'm like, so why isn't the energy coming from the protein? Probably because there isn't enough in there, and corn is cheaper to bump up those numbers. But, I still ask the question. And, same thing with rice. Why the rice? Rice is not very bioavailable. It's difficult to digest. Granted, this is in a different form, but still, why the rice? There isn't a whole lot of nutritional benefits to rice. So why is it in there? But you don't really get an answer when you start asking questions. Instead, they become a little, I wouldn't say aggressive. I would just say, condescending. I had one person even just tell me that she felt sorry for me because clearly someone had hurt me to turn me into such an angry, miserable person.
Oh my god.
And she hoped that I got the help that I needed, all because I asked her, tell me about the benefits of dried bakery products. And but yeah, the people get so, you know, there's such a huge chasm, it feels, between the traditional veterinary world and then everything else. And unfortunately, the traditional world, because of their beautiful marketing and all that money, they have the attention of the chunk of pet parents. And it's just like, it's really hard to break through all of that. Because I even have, like, well, I posted something months ago about why I don't feed rice to my dogs. And I had people come into my comments saying, good luck when your dog gets DCM, and it's just like, wow. And I even asked this one guy, I was just like, what are your thoughts on the recent study about DCM? And he was just like, well, it doesn't disprove that boutique diets are a problem, da 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 da. And I'm like, "Huh, okay." That was when I knew that this conversation wasn't going to go anywhere, because
Okay.
it was just like, because the way the conversation was going, I could tell he didn't know what I was talking about, but then he came back and was like, do you mean this one? And I'm like, oh, so you Googled it. You actually haven't had an opportunity to really dive into it. So never mind. I'm not
But you'll
gonna.
believe all the other studies that, were for such short periods of time, but not
Yeah.
the actual more
Yeah.
longitudinal ones.
No,
Yeah.
why not? Why not? It doesn't,
So
especially because it's a study by the same, maybe not all the same people, but it's not like it's a study that came out from a different group of people. So it's like,
right.
well, mm, you know, and I don't know. I'm just sort of over it all. Over it all.
Well, you're reminding me, I'm gonna put this post in the links for everybody about this article that Amy Renz at Goodness Gracious wrote, and it is just we already know a lot of this, but I really like how she lays it out. And the article is called Our Dogs Are Sick Because of Something Their Grandparents Ate. And it
Mhm.
starts off saying that kibble entered the food market in 1926, launching a century of ultra processed feeding. That's 50 generations of dog consuming foods far removed from what their bodies evolved to thrive on. And that it creates these epigenetic changes, which we've talked about, right? Like these
Mhm.
switches that'll turn on and off based on your environment. But we're basically turning on all of the genes to have our dogs be overweight and to be sick because for generations now they haven't been getting the nutrition that they need. And so
Yeah.
I just thought this is a really beautiful way that she has it laid out and takes you through the different science and things. So I want to make sure everybody has a chance to look at that.
Yeah, I thought it was really fascinating and well done.
And that's not like a scientific article. It's just a piece that she wrote, but she does back up where she's getting her information from.
Yeah. And then, of course, there was the well water contamination study. What I love about the Dog Aging Project, which is who was behind this study, is
I'm
that
glad we've had them on the podcast.
we did. They did not state that, okay, everybody get out there and buy these reverse osmosis machines and do all this. No, they said that we came up with some information that's compelling enough that we think that there needs to be a true study behind this to confirm the information that we found. And so there's needs to be more science. But I did look into like the reverse osmosis because I was just like, well, what is the cost of this? And I figured that, you can, of course, do the filters to the house, but you can also do like a countertop filter. And I think one of the least expensive but effective countertop filters was going to be about $300. And that doesn't include they said you were going to spend another about $150 a year replacing the filters
Filters.
and stuff. And when it comes to my thought as I was reading into this was, it'll become something very popular. And then there will be the cheap versions, the knockoff
Well,
versions, the
there already
Temu.
is.
Yeah, the Temu versions that people will think that they're getting a reverse osmosis filter when they're actually not. And so it's so important. But if you plan on going this route, educating yourself on what is a quality filter, what type of standards they need to
Yeah, you're
match.
not gonna get it at Target. Like, they
No.
sell ones at Target and stuff, and, I mean, perhaps they're better than nothing, I don't know, but it's not going to remove the contaminants that you
Yeah.
really need, yeah. The one I have falls right into about the category you're talking about. We have a
Yeah.
countertop one.
Yeah, so it's just like it's pretty I think it's really something to think about, something that's very compelling. And if you can't, if you've have well, I also think that it really depends on where you are because even though they took well water samples from pet parents from different areas of the country, they mentioned East Coast places specifically. And so I think that, when you think of where is that place? What was the place that had the water issue? Do you know what I'm talking about?
I think that was Flint, Michigan?
Flint, Michigan, yeah. So if you're in an area where you knowingly have water issues, then this is probably something that's you already know about and have already invested in. Whereas if you're in a place that doesn't have recorded water issues with the water, then it may not be something that is on your radar. So I think that initially, if you live on a well, maybe start replacing the filters to your house on a more regular basis. Make sure that you're doing it at least on the schedule that they tell you. But if you can afford it, to do it a little more. So maybe instead of every 3 months, you do it or like I think it's like every 90 days, maybe do it every 60 days. Because I think for a lot of people, the hard part about all of this, and I see it, and you probably see this too, just in the rescue side, is we love our dogs, but people are starting to surrender dogs because the cost of dog ownership is going up and up. I mean, pet insurance is expensive, veterinary care is expensive, feeding them is expensive. And granted, I can spend my money on all these little things to keep my dogs healthy so I don't have to use the pet insurance or go to the vet. But if there's no guarantee that this outlay of money is going to give me the results that I need, and then a lot of times it's not going to give you the results we need right away. It's something that we build over time. It's kind of hard to convince someone to spend $300 and then stay consistent
Yeah.
with keeping the water clean and stuff.
And I will just mention again, this study that we're talking about is only about well water. This is not
Yeah.
about public water.
Yes, exactly. So, but it just like it does make you want to think about the fact that because they were also talking about there are areas where there's no requirement to test your water and no one is coming out testing people's well water. So we're just drinking water,
Hoping for the
assuming
best.
it's fine because we're fine. And it mentioned this, we're treating, I mean, it didn't say that we were treating our dogs, but that our dogs are basically the canaries
In the
in the
coal
coal
mine.
mine because of this. So it's just so I spoke to Johan about it, and we're going to start replacing our filters every 60 days now. So, and so we'll see. We'll see.
So I know I've been blowing you up with reels where it looks like dogs are having a podcast.
Yes.
Were you getting those
Yeah,
before I
I'm
sent?
not getting them. But
Oh.
what I love is the third dog that's just laughing. I mean, it's like,
It's like it looks like this French bulldog and a golden retriever are having a podcast, and
yeah. And I
the
think that there's
Frenchie keeps laughing.
the
Yeah, they'll
French
have
bulldog,
different
the golden
guests
retriever,
on.
and there's the ones that you sent me had uh,
There was a
Doberman
Doberman
Pinscher.
one.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a German Shepherd one. Yeah, they'll have, like, different guests on, and most of them are very funny, but they have had a couple, like, tear-jerking ones too. They brought a pit bull on named Maya, and she was telling her rescue story, and that
Aw.
one was, like, all emotional, and it was a longer one too, because some of them were, like, 10 seconds or whatever. But, yeah, it's this I guess there's, like, an app or something called Dog Pack, and, yeah, I've been flooded with these, and I'm not even a video watching person, but, oh my god, if you see dogs having a podcast, because they have, like, the mics and the headphones. I mean, these things are perfect. I'm obsessed with these videos.
That's a lot. I love it.
I'm sending them to everybody.
I've just been watching my I call them my trash TV on YouTube, where it's basically body cam videos. I I can't stop. I've watched 4 today. I mean, I'm so addicted to body cam because all I do is I watch them just in awe because it's just sort of like, do you do you recognize how you're behaving right now, or are you so drunk that your behavior seems perfectly acceptable? And my favorite part in any video is when the person is just like, "Oh, just get it over with. The last time I went blah, blah, blah." And I'm like, "You guys act like you're going to Target when you're going to jail." I would be freaked out if I was going to jail. But anyway, that's my thing. And then as far as TV, I watched a series. It was a short series. I think it was like 3 or 4 episodes called Hostage. And it was British and French.
Oh, I haven't seen this yet.
Yeah, and it was very good. I was very into it. And there was another one. Tried to watch Hightown, but I just couldn't really get into it. I'm gonna go try to go back to it, but I just couldn't get into it. But I did start watching The Residents, and
That's the White House one?
yes,
I love that woman so much.
you did not play it up enough because I'm just sitting here like I should have started watching this the second you mentioned it because it is I love her so much when she'll just stop and
Amazing.
start staring and then just turn and everyone follows.
It's so amazing.
I
It's
mean,
yeah.
I am not finished with it yet. I think I'm about halfway through, but it is so good. It was like my lazy Sunday treat. So that's what I watched 4 episodes yesterday, and I just absolutely loved it. It is so good.
Yeah, I loved that. We have to talk about Hunting Wives. We just finished it. We finally finished it. It took us forever to watch it because we were only watching it when we ate dinner, and we'd only watch like half an episode a night. So it
Yeah.
took us like a long time. So I don't know that it was an error, but Tim was watching it with me. Whereas if it was me, I probably would like binged it in 2 days. But it's very funny having Tim watch it. He was kind of like, "Oh, I'll watch it. There's like hot chicks with guns on the cover of it or whatever." Like, okay. We did not know what we were getting into. And the thing about my husband is like he almost thinks that everything is like a reality show. And he kept pausing it. And I'm going to try not to do too many spoilers here. I feel like everybody in the world's watched it already. So, but he would like be like, Sophie, like, what is wrong with her? Red flag, red flag. Like, this is not normal behavior. Like, you're being groomed right now. Like, he would be like stopping it and like, no, like, what is she doing? This is not okay. And like, why would you? And I'm like, Tim, sweetie, like, it's not. He's like, this, I can't stand who does this. Like, oh my God. And then he'd be like, we're never moving to Texas. We're never moving to Texas. So anyway, it was like very hilarious having him watch it with me.
Oh, yeah.
It
It
added
was
just a whole other dimension.
I thought it was so good because, every time I thought it was over, it
It
kept going.
wasn't. Yeah.
It was like every time I thought, "Oh, okay, well, it's
And
over."
then it ended and you're like, "What? There's
Yeah, it
more."
felt like it had 2 endings, and then it was just done, and I was just, like, completely like, "Oh,
Like, it
is it
definitely
coming
set up for
back?
a
Is there
second season,
what's
yeah.
happening?" But yeah, it was, like, really well d I thought it was really fun. I
It
thought it
was
was
definitely a fun show. It was not what I
it w
expected. I did not expect it to be so, like, I don't know, Desperate Housewives-y or you
Yes.
know what I mean?
I did not expect that. I thought it was gonna be more
Like, whodunit or something,
yeah,
I guess.
yeah.
Which it was a little
Well, it
bit, but
was, but yeah, it had a lot of it was very much, yeah, like the Desperate Housewives, but with murder.
yeah. Which I
And
think
that's
that show had murder too. But yeah, it was just very funny experience watching it with Tim, let me tell you.
Yeah. Yeah, Johan doesn't watch we don't really watch TV shows. We'll watch movies together, but we don't watch TV shows together. And because I usually just, because he works on the weekend, so I usually binge my shows when he's gone, that way I don't have interruptions. And that
I
was good.
found a very funny show. I don't know that anybody other than me would like it, but, I think it's on Netflix and it's called Fisk, and it's from Australia, and Fisk is this woman's last name, and she's a lawyer who's, like, in her 40s and got divorced, and her career is messy, and her home life is messy, and her family is messy, and, she's just, like, kind of very cringy at times, and, uh but it also because she works in a law office, there's also just some funny stuff with that, and that would just, like, never happen, but just anyway, I was watching it the other night, and Tim's like, I'm getting out of here." But I liked it, but he also it's Australian, so, they have a little bit of an accent, and he's very weird about accents, so he only likes Irish accents.
Yeah, so, yeah, I that's all I've watched. I
Oh, and
think it
he's watching, that show on Chief of War, the Jason Momoa show
Oh,
on
yeah.
Apple, so he's all into that, especially because we just got back from Hawaii, and on some of the tours we went on, we heard about some of the history that's
Oh,
being
okay.
portrayed
Yeah.
in the show, so that was really interesting, but that's not I mean, I don't even like Jason Momoa that much, like,
Yeah, I
it's a him show.
I don't watch, it's I'm kind of weird. I don't like violent shows. I don't like violent historical shows, but I like violent Jason Statham.
Yeah, same,
So
yeah.
it's like where it's fake violence, not historical, like, "Hey, yeah, this is what happened." And I just feel like historical stuff, the level of violence was just so crazy.
And usually against women, you know.
It's too much, and it's just sort of like
Yeah, Tim watches all those, like, Vikings and
yeah.
pirates, and yeah, he watches all that stuff,
I
yeah.
have a friend who's like, "You need to get into Vikings," and I'm like, I don't like historical things where people are dirty all the
I
time.
told I was like, "Oh my god," I have said, "I don't like dirty people." I have said
It
that.
drives me crazy. I spend there thinking about what their teeth look like and what they smell like, and the fact that they can't, you're right on water. Can't,
I can't bathe, yeah.
I mean, and the thing about it is I mean, I guess for people who are very interested, maybe they want more realistic, but I don't need it. I know that, like, in Tudor history, I know that they were stinky then too, but when I watch, like, Tudors, the gowns are beautiful. They're not even historically accurate, but they're beautiful, and that's my level of historic stuff. And I know it's not real, and I know it's been I mean, I think what they did to Anne Boleyn was horrible, but, I need my history clean. And I need everyone to be nice. I mean, not nice, but I just need it to be clean. Like, Game of Thrones was very hard for me to get through. Thankfully, it was very well written, but I can't watch it a second time. I've tried many times, but I
I've
can't get
never
in.
watched it. I've never
Oh,
seen
'cause
one episode.
it's I mean, it's the bad violence. Like, when people die, they die horribly. They don't just die. They
I
die
don't need that in my life.
Yeah, they die in a way that sticks in your head, where it's like they had one actor where he retired from a kid, retired from acting after doing, Game of Thrones because he doesn't have to act anymore, but it's just like but he if he would've stuck to it, he would have had Oscars coming from the skies because he was such a great actor. This kid made me hate him with a passion. Like, I'm curious if people have ever, like, punched him on the street because he was such a good actor, you know? But, yeah, it's the level of violence. I can't.
Oh, and Platonic. Platonic season 2 is finally out on Apple TV.
Oh, I forgot about Platonic. I love that.
Yeah, that's the one with Seth Rogen.
Yes.
Yes, oh my god, I'm
Like,
so happy.
wait, that makes me happy. That's a good wrap up because, that makes me happy because
That's like
thinking of Thrones was not.
alright, guys, well, we're taking off next week because I'm heading to AHVMA,
Woohoo!
and then we'll be back the following week, and you'll hear all about it.
Yeah,
Bye,
I'm excited
guys.
for you. Bye, guys.